There's something strange about this lava flow. Can you tell what it is? There are many, many basaltic lava flows across the western United States, and I love exploring them. They often have large cinder cones, lava tubes, and strange rock formations that make them a great place to witness the direct results of the violent volcanic processes of our planet. I have been to this lava flow several times, but only ever to the northern end here. It wasn't until looking at it on Google Earth that I noticed something amazing. The lakes at the southeastern end of the lava flow are connected to it, filling in the low spots and creating an incredible mosaic of water and volcanic rock. I had always thought that these lakes were separate, but it appears that the basalt is actually what is damming the channel and creating these lakes. This was an incredible find, as almost all other basalt lava flows in the West are bone dry. So I knew that this place would be unlike anything else I've ever seen. So I packed up my paddleboard and headed out to explore this unique blend of lava and water. Welcome! I'm now out in the sagebrush on my way to those lava lakes, but unfortunately I'm having a little bit of a problem. There's a lot of water out here. It's starting to turn the road to mud. Up ahead I'm dealing with this, and I'm currently trying to decide if I should attempt going through this and risk getting stuck. I took my socks off and I'm gonna go walk through it and see how muddy it is. From what I can feel, it feels like there's about an inch or two of mud and then some gravel underneath. So I think I'd be able to make it through that. Here we go. Woo! That was a little scary. Alright, I've officially made it to the lakes that are flooding that massive lava flow. So I'm gonna pump up my paddleboard, put the paddleboard on the lake and paddle over to the basalt. It's actually really quite nice here. I kind of scared them off, but there was a lot of really cool birds here that I assume just live at these lakes. There's some pelicans, ducks, and then even a bald eagle that was flying around. So that's pretty neat. I'm at 3 psi. I need to get to 15. Alright, got all my stuff and I think I'm ready to go. Gonna have to be very careful not to flip this thing while I'm out there because I got my drone and I'm gonna have my cameras, so yeah, let's just hope we don't flip. Looks like a clear day on the water though, so I think we'll be alright. You know, I definitely can't say carrying this thing is super fun, but hoping it's worth it. Because for once, I really don't feel like walking. I'd rather paddle around. That took way, way longer than I thought. It's kind of a brutal walk. I'm gonna head out that way and go to the right and we'll see what we see. Successfully paddling in the water. The wind is against me, but it dies down every once in a while, like right now. And I think I'll just have to paddle for 10 or 20 minutes to get over there. It's really nice out here, and there's no one here. I'm pretty sure most people use that upper lake, the northern lake, and I'm on the southern one, and this one definitely has a much harder approach because the entire shoreline is that rocky basalt, which makes it kind of hard to get in. I haven't paddleboarded in a while, so I'm a little bit rusty, but so far so good. I just gotta make sure not to flip this boat. Alright, I have now made it over to the basaltic lava flow, and it is really, really nice over here. So you can kind of see where it changes from these sagebrush hills to this dark black lava flow just all around me here. Man, it is just so cool because there's so many shorebirds out here. I've of course scared them all off. They're pretty skittish, but there's pelicans and seagulls and avocets, just all sorts of things living here in this little shallow area. It's kind of like, it's not quite a marsh, maybe just a wetland would be the right way to describe it. And it's just so unique, you know, because I think the only other place where I see water and basalt mixing like this is on the coast, you know, the Oregon coast, at the tide pools and stuff like that. But most of these desert lava flows, because there's a lot in the American West, are bone dry, you know, craters of the moon, all the ones in Oregon around the national monument there, Newberry National Monument. Those are all dry, none of them are flooded like this. So it's a really, really cool landscape to be in. So the plan now is to, I think I can just walk through here because it's actually so shallow that I can just stand up. It's probably just above my ankles. All right, let's keep exploring. Well, it turned out the water actually got a lot deeper past that little shallow spot I was at, and I was able to paddle around instead of having to walk. Now I'm kind of at the opposite shoreline of the lake where it really starts to just become little ponds in the lava rock. So I've stowed the paddleboard here, and I'm just gonna walk a little bit this way so we can get a close-up view of what this lava rock looks like. So even just right here, you can really get a good idea of how this lava was flowing. You can see here these kind of crinkly formations where it was piling up and slowly moving across this area. I mean, just right here, kind of looks like frozen molasses or something. Wow, I really can't believe this. So I walked up this little lava hill, and look at this. That is a beaver lodge. There's a beaver just living out here in the lava. A beaver family, probably. There's not really much to dam in this little pond, but with all these willows that are growing, I mean, they had enough to build their lodge. That's incredible. I don't see any beavers. They usually come out in the morning and evening, so I probably won't get to see them, but that is hilarious. So these are the willows that the beaver is using for his lodge. Here's another cool thing. This basalt is almost painted by the lichens. Just the orange and the green. Looks pretty cool. Look at this. So I'm getting close to the beaver lodge, and there's an old beaver trap here. But it looks like it's sprung. It's closed. Well, I don't think they succeeded because that trap looks pretty old, and this lodge looks pretty well kept. Yeah, pretty solid lodge. Not sure where he gets in. It might actually be through there. And I don't see any beavers, but I'm fairly certain that this is like recent. I mean, a lot of those twigs don't even look that old up there that have been chewed. Nice. All right, well, let's keep walking around. So actually, one of the cool things about this lava flow is it's very similar to the ones in Hawaii, and the two different lava types in Hawaii can be seen here as well. So all of these smooth, kind of ropey looking formations, that is called pohoihoi lava, and it is much runnier, kind of thinner lava because it has less silica in it, and it makes a much smoother basalt when it cools. That isn't terrible to walk on. It's still pretty sharp, but it's not bad. But then you look over here at this really spiky stuff, and kind of up that way, that is A'a lava, and it is much slower and more viscous and more explosive. So when it cools, it just makes much sharper basalt that really sucks to get across. But it's pretty cool because even out here in the American West, similar things that are happening thousands of miles away in Hawaii can be seen here on this lava flow. So usually on these big lava flows, there's lots of lava tubes. And I think this is the entrance to one, but since the water has flooded this area, it's completely full of water. But normally, you might be able to go crawling down in there. Here's a spot that was probably a tube, and then the roof has collapsed here, giving us a view of the water underneath. So actually right underneath my feet might be some water and open cavities. Also at the northern end of the flow is the actual crater that all of this lava spewed out of. And again, it looks exactly like a cinder cone from Hawaii, but it's out here in the high desert. It's just so funny, every single one of these collapsed lava tubes has a giant willow growing in the middle of it in a little pond. I wonder how far down some of these cracks go. Well, that was a super fun little bit of exploration. I didn't walk very far because it's just so hot on that lava rock. I love it when there's unique ecosystems like this that you can find using Google Earth. It's such a great tool, and thanks to Google Earth I have now found a lava wetland, I'll call it. I actually don't know how common this is. I'm sure there are some other ones in the West, but I just know there can't be many. So, for the end of the video, I thought I'd take you guys back onto Google Earth just to look at where I went, and we can look at some of the other features of the lava flow that I didn't get to visit today. So, I drove in here and parked right at this spot, which is where there is a little bit of an artificial dam here, just to keep this lake full, I assume. And then I had to kind of walk across this stuff because there's a big fence here and walk all the way down over these bumpy rocks to get to the lake. And that's where you saw me put in on the water, and then I paddled all the way across this to get to about here. And this is where it was really shallow. And then I put the drone up and paddled all the way through here up into, I think, about this spot. And this is where that big beaver lodge was, in this pond here. And then I kind of walked around on this lava, looked in a couple of these collapsed tubes and stuff like that, and then went back. So I actually didn't cover that much distance, and there's a lot more to explore out here. So I'd love to go back, especially to get onto this lake here, but I just knew I was not going to be able to get my car over there because it was so muddy everywhere. Pretty cool spot that I'd love to get back to. And as I mentioned, there is a cinder cone up here where I've been before, and it's actually quite a big one. It's quite deep, and there are also some lava tubes that you can get into on this side here, and some pretty deep pits right here as well. So if you'd like to see me go to this spot in a future video, let me know, because I'd love to go back there. And then also I figured I'd try to back up my claim a little bit by looking around at some other lava flows to make sure that the one I went to today is unique. And after checking out a bunch of them, I have only found one that is truly flooded. One in Newberry. Where is Newberry? Over here. Does run up next to the river. So there are a couple small spots where the water is right next to the lava rock, and honestly this is probably beautiful, but it's definitely not the same where we don't have any large-scale flooding inside of the basalt here. And then I did find one in California, right here, that is partially flooded. So we can see this lava flow here. I think just flowed into this lake. I think this lake was already here. You can see the cinder cone and then the lava flowing into it there. And it definitely is kind of similar, but I think it's a bit of a different environment though, because there's no plant growth in the flow as we could see where I went. It's kind of more just flooding into this lake here. So it's still a little bit different, but I figured I'd point out that this one is probably the most similar thing to what I found today, though I'd still say what I found was pretty unique. And you can see there's another lake over here, but again, it just kind of goes up to the edge and it's not really interacting with the water. Because back at this one here, you can see that it's really inundating into the flow and getting pretty far in, like several hundred meters in. And the other thing I figured I'd talk about is how that this lava flow is actually damming these lakes. Because at first I thought these lakes were artificial, and they just happened to put them next to the lava flow, but it doesn't actually appear to be that way. So you can see the creek that's forming them starts over here in higher ground and it's flowing down, and then the channel would have likely gone through here and then turned south, and you can see it continue down this way. But it appears that when the eruption was occurring, which started here at the cinder cone, it flowed downhill and then filled up all of this channel, and then actually continued and filled it up down here as well. There's no one dam that's occurring here. This is kind of the first spot where the water is hitting it, so this is the main dam, but then it's also plugging up the channel down here as well, which is pretty interesting. So I think the water is actually flowing through the flow in a couple spots, and that's how it's getting so far in here. And it's probably going through those cracks and crevices and tubes that are under the lava flow, which is, again, so cool. Alright guys, well this is probably the end of the video. And let me know if you still like these Google Earth to real life adventures, because I really like doing them, and I would really like to do more places like this that maybe aren't, you know, incredibly visually stunning like the biggest canyons or biggest mountains that I go to a lot of times. But you know, if you guys are interested in these kind of more like pleasant, just pleasant nature and pleasant beauty instead of stunning nature and stunning beauty. So if you guys are into the chill, pleasant type of videos as well, let me know, because this was super fun to make, and I would love to do more adventures like this, because these are really easy, nice day trips that I can do that are kind of close by, and it makes it easier to do those big stunning trips as well. But I mean, this was on my list to see, just like anything else, so, and it definitely delivered. But as always, thank you for watching, and if you want to see some behind the scenes content from the last couple weeks, make sure to go check me out on Patreon. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.